But ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, welcome to Jordan's Norwegian Horror Corner. Uh, this is obviously being inspired because we have all had our minds and lives and hearts eaten by a recent video game called Valheim, wherein you travel to a nondescript Scandinavian land of enchantment, and there you face Scandinavian enchanted mysteries and Scandinavian monsters. Crawl. This place is crawling with monsters.
Oh, so many.
Listen, Scandinavia, I don't know how you're doing it out there.
No, you gotta slow it down. It's too much.
Vikings, I don't know how you're doing it in the afterlife. This place is crawling with monsters. But some of those monsters...
I'll tell you how they're doing it. They're punching down trees and picking up rocks and turning them into axes, man.
Yep. They're getting those flint spears. They're getting shit done. It is a great game. Please come play with us. Watch us play on Monday. Twitch.tv/werewolf_radar. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Play with us. Join it.
Hell yeah. Come join us. You know, sure, the monsters will be more terrifying, but...
Yes, give your mind to the All-Father as we have.
Exactly. But some of the monsters in the game are based on actual Scandinavian folklore. Did you guys know that?
I know the dwarves. I know the trolls.
Of course you flippin' did.
But I don't know the other things, like the deer? What's the deer based on?
What is a deer? Some sort of horse with tree head? What's wrong with it? Why parched tree?
First of all, yeah, why aren't there more myths of, like, the monster deer who took its horns from the tree?
Because we found them. Because deer were fucking everywhere being stupid, getting caught in the wheels of people's fucking chariots from day one. The second the wheel was invented, the first thing that happened was a deer jumped in front of it. And we were like, all right, well, that's not mysterious. They look so elegant, but they're pretty stupid.
Yeah. All right. Ask a stupid question. I get a smart answer.
You know, they do think that that maybe Legends of the Unicorn came from people seeing reindeer, because sometimes they have that middle horn that kind of lines up, or seeing caribou, people who weren't used to it. But I digress. That's not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about a couple of the creatures that you might run into in Valheim. First and foremost, the neck. One of the first things that you encounter in this game is these weird little salamander guys. They look like a big salamander. They've got kind of oh geez, what's the Japanese vampire that sucks your soul out of your butthole? Kappa. They got kind of Kappa vibes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I assume if you just Google lizard neck, it'll immediately come up with the correct image.
But they also they go and they try to bite you. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Is this an actual thing in Scandinavian folklore that there's giant salamanders that want to steal your core wood? And so I looked it up, and it actually is. There's something called a neck, or a nakken, or a nack, or a Vithainen. In Scandinavian Germanic mythology. So this is a little excerpt from the Wikipedia page about neck, parentheses, water spirit.
Hit us. That's where they are. They're by that water, slipping and sliding.
All over the place. They've been talking about necks in Sanskrit, in Greek, in Ireland. They talk of the neck. Some places call it the necker. You might remember that as a monster from the Witcher series. You can kill neckers. They're kind of weird little like
poisonous river spirits.
Pale, like they have all these weird double chins. They're like scary little goblins.
I just put something together. I used to work for a kayak factory called Nessie. It's probably related to that.
Nekkie?
No, but
there's Nakki.
We'll say it is now.
Naki is a translation of the same creature. You might have also heard the term Nix or Nixie. Have you ever heard that before?
I've heard of it in a baseball game or two.
Same thing. When you hear somebody talking about a Nixie, they're generally talking about the neck.
I thought the Nixies were related to mermaids.
Well, now specifically, Well, yeah, honestly, it's a woven tapestry, my guy. That's what I'm learning. The Icelandic and Faroese Nikur are horse-like creatures. In Middle Low German, it is called the Necker. In Middle Dutch, it is Knickers. That's fun. Also, nickel.
Then again, everything in Middle Dutch is a euphemism for underwear.
Yeah.
It's a
It
fun
also-
language.
Dutch oven is, I mean, there's a reason for it.
Loosely translates to water monster or crocodile sometimes. And they were encountered in Beowulf. Throughout Scandinavia, these creatures are described as male water spirits who play enchanted songs on the violin.
Interesting. So a little bit of a divergence. Not a lot of violin playing in Valheim.
That's true.
I do like a fiddle ghost.
Love a fiddle ghost. Love a good fiddle ghost. And honestly, this fiddle playing ghost appears elsewhere in Norse mythology, or in Scandinavian folklore, I should say. Sometimes you will hear it referred to as, oh geez, what was it? Give me a second. It's not the Holdra. It's the Fossagrimmen. Sometimes they call this spirit the Fossagrimmen when it takes on the appearance of a handsome young man, otherwise known as Grim. Fossagrimmen is a water-based Scandinavian creature. This attractive young man sits naked under waterfalls, often playing music on a fiddle. He's a waterfall hunk. According to Scandinavian legend, Fossagrimmen plays the music of nature, creating the sounds of the trees and water. He can also teach humans how to play if they bring him a stolen piece of meat. There's also...
He'll know the difference. He'll know if you bought it. Stolen meat tastes like excitement.
However, they were also known to play the violin to lure women, children, and curious young men to their deaths in lakes and streams.
Yes.
However, not all these spirits were necessarily malevolent. Many stories indicate that, the very least, that the Nokra were entirely harmless to their audience and attracted not only women and children, but men as well with their sweet songs. Stories also exist wherein the Fossagrim agreed to live with a human who had fallen in love with him.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, there's also stories kind of in the bardic traditions of Scandinavia where if you you need to find the Fossagrim or the Neck to teach you the ultimate song. Like they are connected to music in this way that they can teach you like the fucking jam.
Gotcha.
Like if you meet a Neck and you manage to make it out of there with your neck, so to speak, you'll be able to play like a blistering, crazy, probably black metal solo on like a lyre.
The language of fairies.
Some kind of drum or bone flute, perhaps. Yeah. So that's a little bit about the Neck. Generally speaking, it is kind of a shape-shifting water spirit. It comes in all of these different forms. It's kind of a catch-all term for water pixie. Sometimes you'll, in the Nikur or the Nikur, when it's a horse, it's kind of that standard, I mean, you know what supernatural horses do. Here's a Faroese text that describes it if you don't know. The Nikur dwells in water at the bottom, down in the depths. He has his lair. From here, he often goes onto land, and it is not good to meet him. Sometimes, he's like a beautiful little horse, which seems to be good and tame, and thus he lures people to draw near to him, to pat him and stroke him along the back. But when they come to touch the tail, they become stuck fast to him, and then he releases no one, but he drags them with him to the bottom of the water.
Very kelpy.
Correct.
Also, that the Romanian mermaid, I forgot what she's called, but exact same thing. Just takes you down.
Yeah, they'll take you down. The equivalent term in continental Scandinavian language is bakahast, or brookhorse, and also the Scottish kelpie. The bakahast was often described as a majestic white horse that would appear near rivers, particularly during foggy weather. Anyone who climbed on its back would not be able to get off, so on and so forth. This is a tale It's a good illustration of what happens if you meet a brook horse. Long time ago, there was a girl who was not only pretty, but big and strong.
Ooh.
She worked as a maid on a farm by a lake in Hjaltsahjön in southern Nerike. She was plowing with the farm's horse on one of the fields by the lake. It was springtime and beautiful weather. The birds chirped and the wagtails flitted in the tracks of the girls and the horse in order to pick worms. All of a sudden, a horse appeared out of the lake. It was big and beautiful, bright in color with large spots on the side. The horse had a beautiful mane which fluttered in the wind and a tail that trailed on the ground. The horse pranced for the girl to show her how beautiful he was. The girl, however, knew that it was the brook horse and ignored it.
She knew.
It's a good story. Then the brook horse came closer and closer until finally he was so close that he could bite the farm horse in the mane. The girl hit the brook horse with the bridle and cried, "Disappear, you scoundrel, or you'll have to plow so you'll never forget it." As soon as she said this, the brook horse had changed places with the farm horse, and the brook horse started plowing the field with such speed that soil and stones whirled in its wake, and the girl hung like a mitten from the plow. Faster than the cock crows 7 times, the plowing was finished, and the brook horse headed for the lake, dragging both the plow and the girl. But the girl had a piece of steel in her pocket.
Aha!
She made the sign of the
There you go.
cross. Immediately, she fell down on the ground and saw that the brook horse disappeared into the lake with the plow. She heard a frustrated neighing when the brook horse understood that its trick had failed. Can we get a little frustrated neighing, guys?
I don't know what horses sound like.
Until this day, a deep track can be seen in the field.
The
So that's
Right, so it got the job done, but it fucked up the field forever.
that's a little this and that from the Necker. It can be here and there. Yeah, it fucked up the field forever. This is kind of something that you see a lot. Is like, that's how Paul Bunyan dug the Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
it's a very Paul Bunyan-ish tale.
Explaining geological features and such. Trolls, you guys.
What?
Trolls.
Oh God, I hate them.
I love them. I can't stay away from them. They're bad for me. But I like those trolls.
At least you know they're bad for you.
When we were growing up, we had...
That's step one.
When we were growing up, my mom had those little wooden trolls around that were like a little family of trolls. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm
They're
familiar.
cute. But trolls, in reality, are not cute. They want one thing. Death. They want to eat your bones and your meat.
I thought you were going to say they want to
Scandinavian.
ratio you on Twitter.
And Nordic folklore is a creature... Wait, sorry. Is the folklore of Denmark, blah, blah, blah. This is the wrong thing. Let's leave that in to show people what an idiot I am.
I mean, you
What
wasn't
happened
wrong.
What happened to my troll page, y'all? Dang it.
It's okay.
I done lost my troll page. This whole internet.
I
Talk
don't
about
get it.
trolls. A troll is a being in Scandinavian folklore, including Norse mythology and Old Norse. Described as trolls dwell in isolated rocks, mountains, or caves, live together in small family units, and are rarely helpful to human beings. So maybe not quite bloodthirsty. In later Scandinavian folklore, trolls became beings in their own right, where they live far from human inhabitation, are not Christianized, and are considered dangerous to human beings. Depending on the source, their appearance varies greatly. Trolls may be ugly and slow-witted, or look and behave exactly like human beings, with no particularly grotesque characteristics about them.
Remember that movie Troll Hunter?
I was about to say Troll Hunter has a pretty full bestiary.
Yes.
Which
And that's
fucking
pretty
ass.
dead on. Except in that movie, the trolls know if you're a Christian, even if you think you gave up your faith.
Oh, they can smell your baptism.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they can in Valheim as well.
Yeah,
If
they
you-
love the smell of your baptism.
If you get in a place where they can't see you, they'll just sit there and they'll sniff at you
Yeah.
because they know you're there.
That's scary. In Norse mythology, troll is a term applied to the Jotnar. Do you guys know who the Jotnar are?
I'm familiar. Go on.
Jotun is the Jotnar are typically
the
an
giants.
entity contrasted with gods and other figures such as dwarves and elves. Yeah, it's kind of all of that. Is mentioned throughout Old Norse corpus and Old Norse sources. Old Norse sources. Trolls are said to dwell in isolated mountains. Same. Sometimes live together. Same. And are rarely described as helpful. Right. So this is your Norse troll standard. Do you guys want to hear the according to a section from a poem by 9th century skald Bragi Boddason?
You know I do.
This is a first-hand account of his encounter with a lady troll.
Ooh.
Get Virginia Wade on the line. I think we've got a new book.
One evening, he encountered a troll woman who aggressively asked him who he was.
How are you?
They call me a troll, moon of the earth, Hrugner. Hrugner is a giant. Who
This whole thing is taking place on a city bus, right?
Moon of the earth, Hrugner, wealth sucker, or of the giant, destroyer of the storm sun, beloved follower of the Seeress, guardian of the Nafjord, swallower of the wheel of heaven. What's a troll if not that? Cool poem. There is much confusion and overlap in the use of Old Norse terms Jotun, Troll, Purs, and Risi, which describe various beings. Lotemotz theorized that these were originally 4 distinct classes of beings: lords of nature, the Jotun; mythical magicians, the Troll; hostile monsters, the Durs; and heroic and courtly beings, the Risi. The last class being the youngest edition. Let's skip forward to Scandinavian folklore.
Yes.
Later in Scandinavian folklore, trolls became defined as a particular type of being. Numerous tales are recorded about trolls in which they are frequently described as being extremely old, very strong but slow and dim-witted, and are at times described as man-eaters.
Men are delicious.
They also turn to stone when you touch them to sunlight, or vice versa. However, numerous trolls are also attested to as looking as much the same as human beings.
Wait, or
not in
vice
particular-
versa? That's an important thing to nail down. Which one is it?
Well, if you touch a troll to sunlight, or if the troll touches sunlight.
Oh, I thought it meant, like, it's either that or it's the other way around. It's moonlight or sunlight. One of them turns it to stone.
Fair. Good question.
Well, it's just as long as you're carrying a sunbeam in your
You just gotta have it
you
touch
can use
it.
to
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they look just like people, but like solitary, weird people. They are not Christian, it says. People who encounter them do not know them. Therefore, trolls were, in the end, dangerous, regardless of how well they might get along with Christian society. And trolls display a habit of bergtagning, which means mountain taking, which means they will take you to the mountain. They also are fond of overrunning farms and old rundown estates. That's a place where you might likely find a troll.
Okay. Squatters' rights, people.
If you will. John Lindau states that the etymology of the word troll remains uncertain. Sometimes you hear it described as trow. There's a lot of times with like the names of towns, like Trowbridge will be like Trollbridge. You know?
Gotcha.
They therefore appear in various migratory legends where collective nature beings are called for. So it's kind of a lot of times it'll be, if the neck is the water spirit, this is the earth spirit.
Okay.
Well, nature spirit. Dwarf is more of an earth spirit, which I don't think we're going to get to this time, but we will be talking about dwarfs probably next time. A Scandinavian folk belief is that lightning frightens away trolls and Jotnar appearances.
Me too.
Maybe a late reflection of the god Thor's role in scaring such beings. In connection,
he slays them pretty constantly.
Slays the shit out of them. Loves to slay trolls. Same dog. I get it. The lack of trolls in Jotnar in modern Scandinavia is sometimes explained as a result of the accuracy and efficiency of the lightning stroke.
We would have more trolls and giants and stuff, but Thor was just so accurate.
It's literally Thor up there. He never misses this guy. Hundreds of years he's been blasting trolls into a fine brown dust. They're filled with stew, I imagine. Additionally, the absence of trolls in regions of Scandinavia is also described as being a consequence of the constant din of church bells. This ringing caused the trolls to leave for other lands. Although not without some resistance, numerous traditions relate how trolls destroyed a church under construction or hurled boulders and stones at completed churches. Large local stones are sometimes described as the product of a troll's toss. Very cool. Additionally, into the 20th century, the origins of particular Scandinavian landmarks, such as particular stones, are described as trolls, who may, for example, have been turned to stone upon exposure to sunlight.
Gotcha.
Smaller trolls are attested as living in burial mounds and in mountains in Scandinavian folk tradition. In Denmark, these creatures are recorded as troldfolk, bjergetrold, or bjergefolk, which means troll folk, mountain trolls, or mountain folk. And in Norway, also as troldfolk. They are described as small human-like beings or as tall as men, depending on the region of the origin of the story. In Norwegian tradition, similar tales may be told about the larger trolls and the hulderfolk. The hulderfolk are the hidden folk, which are little dwarves and elves and such. Yet a distinction is made between the two. The use of the word trow in Orkney and Shetland, or I guess it would just be trow, to mean beings which are very like the Hulderfolk in Norway may suggest a common origin of the term. So they're spreading, guys. They're spreading to the Orkneys. They're almost to the UK. Watch out, UK listeners.
Prepare yourself for your houses to be demolished.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if they survive the Blitz, they can survive the trolls. This is what Brexit was all about. A strong anti-immigration policy.
Truth. Well, honestly, it turns out that trolls are kind of the legend of trolls. It goes back way further than the Christianization of Scandinavia, but that really kind of springboarded it to being associated with these kind of anti-Christian tendencies. Like the idea that a church that was being built was burned to the ground or smashed by stones. We never found the culprit. It was trolls. Or even we did see the culprit. It was those savages who live on the mountains, you know, those troll people. Yeah, exactly. So you can kind of see how all of these strands connect. I'm going to go ahead and bail out, but boy, do we have a lot of Scandinavian mythology that I'm going to try to dig into.
There is a ton.
This month. Because apparently that's the monsters that I'm focusing on.
Do we under those circumstances, do we count Varg Vikernes as a troll?
I mean, you know, there's one way to find out: expose him to sunlight.
Expose him to the sun.
Touch him to the sunstone. So that does it for Jordan's Norwegian Horror Corner.
I like it. I love it.
I want some more of it.
Well, I'm going to go take us still in the Northern Hemisphere.
Ooh.
Take us.
A little bit over.
Mm-hmm.
And did you just load Valheim?
Yes.
No, sir. No way, dog.
I have Steam too, just waiting. You can wait. Okay, so anyway, we're now going to go to Scotland because a U.S. investigator whose picture is on our Steam and YouTube page, you can see it in the corner. He has a wonderful hat. Let me share this for the patrons in the Zoom. Where'd he go? There it is. Share. Look at that. It's glorious.
Oh, that is what is going on there?
That is the man.
That is a curly hat.
That is the man whose story.
It looks like he's wearing an old leaf made out of leather.
He looks like his hat. He looks like he got drunk and tried to cook his hat and forgot it was in the oven.
Yes, very much so. And he's holding some sort of skull.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so his name, or let's just go with the headline. U.S. investigator of mysterious creatures believes the Loch Ness Monster descended from an ancient group of serpentine whales.
Okay, I've actually heard this before.
Yes.
Avid adventurer turns spotlight on Great Highland Mystery. And this is from the Ross-shire Journal, incorporating all North Star News. So,
the North Star News.
An American investigator, blah, blah, blah. He is focusing his new book on the Loch Ness Monster, and he's convinced that the creature, like we just said, is descended from a group of ancient and extinct serpentine whales. The globe-trotting cryptozoologist Ken Gerhard has written The Essential Guide to the Loch Ness Monster and Other Aquatic Cryptids.
God, that's the dope cryptozoologist name.
Ken Gerhard.
Gerhard.
And he did this drawing on interviews and leading Nessie drawing on interviews with leading Nessie experts and reported encounters. It features a foreword by Steve Feltham, who has set the world record for the longest continuous vigil for looking for Nessie. He's been constantly looking for the Loch Ness Monster for 30 years straight.
I've been looking for 37.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We've all been looking since the first time we heard about the Loch Ness.
Just like, is he in my backyard right now?
Nope.
Nope.
But I'm always checking.
I'm looking, though. Mr. Gerhard has appeared in numerous television broadcasts of the History Channel, has traveled the world searching for evidence of unknown animals, including Bigfoot and the loch and other lake monsters. We know them, Champ. I forgot what the African one is called. They're all plesiosaurs, some of them. Others are brontosauruses, big creatures. Say that again?
There's Ogopogo.
Thank you, Ogopogo.
Lake Ontario, I believe.
That's another one. My journey began, and this is Gerhard telling about his life. My journey began at Loch Ness back in 1982, when at the age of 15, I spent a week patrolling the loch with a 8mm film camera and interviewing many locals regarding their thoughts with the monster.
Spent a week at Loch Ness a week at Loch Ness one night. Sorry, that would have been better if I really wanted it to switch out camera for pistol, and he was just 15 patrolling the loch with a pistol looking for this monster.
I was picturing with a handgun as well. And I also keep picturing, like, I assume there's a lot of people out there trying to enjoy the loch, and this 15-year-old dipshit keeps coming up to him to ask him probing questions.
Because it's a very beautiful island. Like, people sail on it, and this poor kid, this asshole kid.
I seek the creature.
Tell me, have you seen the creature?
Bring us the creature.
That's when he started curling his hat. He's been curling it for 30 years.
All right. His quotes go on. I've attempted to compile the most accurate and objective information with regard to the Loch Ness Monster, and moreover, to connect it to worldwide traditions of aquatic cryptids.
I have failed.
I have failed. I am sorry, Mama. Based on thousands of eyewitness descriptions, I'm convinced that Nessie is just one of many such unknown creatures around the globe. Norwegian sea serpents, Champ, Ogopogo here in North America, lake monsters in Scandinavia, Russia, Japan, and Argentina, among others. And that these animals represent the very same species. So he's going Nostratic theory, just one creature spawning all of these.
Going for the grand unified theory of sea creatures.
Yep. Gerhard is a fan of the unified theory of sea monsters, which I think I kind of am now too.
Sure, I think so too.
For the purpose of this particular work, I interviewed many of the leading Nessie experts as well as investigators of other lake monsters around the world. I had actually planned to travel to Loch Ness this year, but unfortunately the pandemic put a crimp in those plans.
Coward, you would have made it work.
Yeah, right? You're looking for the Loch Ness Monster. You can wear a mask to travel. You can quarantine.
Yeah, what happened to commitment? What happened to your fucking vigil?
And then you're just on the boat for the
What
rest of your
happened?
time by yourself.
Why doesn't he have some kind of wacky science that he can use to, like, say that he's immune for some reason?
Yeah.
What type of crypto scientist are you? Do you have no weird
have-
science?
Yeah.
Son.
Or just like some crazy backwards respirator that he's like, well, as long as I have this within 20 feet of me, it cuts the air in half, which destroys all of the viruses in there.
Yeah, how into finding the Loch Ness Monster are you?
I think he's just a talker, but we'll go on. Mr. Gerhard, who is a field investigator for the Center of 14 Zoology, lectures at conferences and events across the U.S. and has traveled to 26 different countries on 6 continents.
Okay. Seems like just a weird brag out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
Describing...
I've also been on a lot of vacations.
I've never vacationed in I forgot what Antarctica was called. I kept wanting to call it Australia.
No, you remembered what
maybe-
Antarctica was called.
I call
Maybe
it
he
cold
hasn't been to
Australia. Describing himself as an avid adventurer, he has camped among the Amazon, explored the Galapagos, hiked the Australian outback. Yeah, he just vacationed a lot.
Truly, though, right?
He's hiked
It's really
Machu
looking that way,
Picchu.
guy. Yeah, I want to go to Florida. Why? You need a grant? Yeah, I'm looking for the Loch Ness Monster.
I mean, all right.
Sorry. You're looking for him in Florida.
There's
It's not
water in
Scotland.
Florida.
I checked Scotland. There's water in Florida. So much water. I checked Australia. Checked Spain. Checked Portugal twice last week.
He probably has it on good authority that it's at Epcot.
I mean, I would be.
Let us continue.
Please.
Originally from the south of England, we're now talking about Steve Feltham, the man who spent 30 years since 1991 looking at the loch, hoping the Loch Ness Monster waves hello.
All right. If this guy has literally not taken his eyes off the loch for 30 years, I'll give it to him that this is an amazing feat.
Yeah, that seems fucking all kinds of improbable, right?
The
Not for a
picture-
second.
The picture of him is just
long
him.
enough to blink a couple times a day.
There's a picture on the internet where it's just him at his hut, which there's a billboard above the hut called NessieHunter.com.
Okay, of course.
And it's just him
all this is
staring at the
giving-
loch.
All of this is giving a lot more credence to my theory that he's never stopped watching. For a second.
No, I go to NessieHunter.com. Anyone that's listening, let's give this guy some traffic. Hope he has a webcam on the loch. That would be cool.
fucking better. What kind of Nessie Hunter are you if you don't?
What was the website again?
NessieHunter.com.
NessieHunter.com.
NessieHunter.com. I'm typing it in right now. We gotta hope for the webcam.
What if we see it? What if we find it first day out?
First
Oh,
day
you think,
out.
What if we see it before he does?
Yeah.
So here's a fun thing.
The one time he turns away.
He turned away for a split second and we got it.
He's having a
Steve
stroke
Feltham
somewhere.
uses Squarespace. And unfortunately, there is not
Of
a
course he uses Squarespace.
there is not a webcam. Get on there, Mr. Steve. You need a webcam blasting.
How do you not have a fucking webcam? Nessie could be out there right now.
Exactly. First of all, there are people streaming their potato phones from different countries all the time on Twitch. We need a Twitch Loch Ness webcam.
So
ASAP.
bad.
Well, fucking Steve Feltham is the cam.
He just needs to plug himself in. He doesn't know where the USB cord goes.
Fair.
So, Steve Feltham, let's go into his history because it's also fascinating. Originally from the south of England, his fascination with the subject was triggered by a family holiday at Loch Ness, aged 7.
I got swallowed by the beast.
He really did.
Spent 3 days inside.
He said Mr. Gerhard's newly published guide was a great reference book. He also stressed the importance of keeping an open mind while exploring the possibility that not all large animals swimming freely in lakes and seas have been found and identified. Which, I mean, that's, especially with the Amazon, like, that's 100% true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even just general ocean depths.
Yes, I mean, lakes,
Yeah.
there's jellyfish that are being discovered in some lakes.
Sure. I found a jellyfish in the fridge.
And that's not even a lake?
Not even a lake.
Did you try eating it yet, like I suggested?
Yeah, well, it was in the minestrone.
Well, then.
We're off.
He said, Mr. Feltham, for every single eyewitness testimony that makes it into the public domain, there are 20 more sightings that will never be talked about beyond close family and friends. This much I've learnt through my years here at the Loch. I guess he also owns the bar at the Loch, and just people are telling him story after story.
Just fucking spilling their beans.
That is a good move, though, to own the local Loch pub.
Sure, I guess. There's a lot of business being done in the Loch Ness Loch pub.
Against all accounts, Feltham continues, you will occasionally read about con men and charlatans who have been attracted by the challenge of fooling the public and getting away with it. Half the fun of this subject is found in identifying those false alarms and removing them from the jigsaw puzzle of evidence. I don't know if that's half the fun. I think it would be more fun just to go like, it's legitimate evidence. I've done it.
I've done it again.
It seems really annoying and tedious to have to wade through, and like get rid of all the con men.
Sure.
And Feltham
start publishing the stories.
And Feltham believes ever more so and says this. Ultimately, even after all the opportunist, hoaxers, and false alarms have been removed, you will find you are left with a substantial number of witnesses who all say the same thing. I saw a large animal that I cannot identify. And he's right. Like, there's a lot of hoaxers. There's people who, try and profit from this, but then at the end of the day, just like Bigfoot, just like the Chupacabra, just like a number of other creatures across the world, they all say that they saw some sort of large creature. They don't know what it is. They've been in the forest. They've been on the lakes. This isn't normal.
This isn't normal.
And that's my segment about a U.S. investigator who recently wrote a book, Mr. Ken Gerhard, stressing and stating...
I thought he was Scottish this whole time. This changes everything. Can we start over?
Discredited.
This is a different... I gotta do a different accent and everything. Oh,
so
wow.
Ken Gerhard throwing out there in a recent book that the Loch Ness Monster is not the plesiosaur we think it is, but might be a whale.
It's a bloody wheel, isn't it? I've heard other people say that it might be a pinniped.
I don't even know what that is. I heard the eel theory. We had fun with that one.
Oh, the eel wad? Absolutely. It's
I don't know. There's something down there, man.
Like a big long seal or sea lion. There seems to be something down there.
It's eating fish. It's crawling against the road sometime.
Mm-hmm. It's brushing up against your foot the second you get into the water. Ah!
So anyway, I'm gonna go contact nessiehunter.co.uk. My name, Werewolf Radar. Email address.
Let him know that he needs to get a webcam.
Yeah, I am. Werewolf Radar at Werewolf Radar. Nope. There we go. Werewolf Radar Pod at Gmail. And the message for Steve. Yo. Y'all need a webcam.
Y'all motherfuckers need a webcam.
Webcam. I watch that all the time.
Hell yeah, I would too. I would legit be checking in on the Nessie webcam.
And now he knows we're American because of the diction I used.
I mean, can we? Yeah, and he'll be like, well, we've got to impress the Americans. Oh wait, he is American. I keep forgetting.
No, this guy's Scottish.
This guy is Scottish.
Not Nessie Hunter Scottish.
Noted.
Ken Gerhard knows we're just making fun of him.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, but this Scottish man, send it.
Send it.
I've sent it.
He wants to help.
Next episode, we're going to talk about the email we got from Steve Feltham.
Now, before we leave, I feel like I got to throw this out there. There has to be a Nessie cam somewhere, right?
You would think.
Nessie cam. LochNess.co.uk live cam.
Awesome.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
This
There
is
we go.
just a link to the YouTube.
Looks like there's a bunch of them.
There's a bunch of Nessies out there?
Well, there's a bunch of Nessie cams.
Apparently it's night over there, so I can't see anything.
Damn it. She's always one step ahead of us.
Damn it. It is. It's true. This is why it can't be found. It knows it's night.
Well, here's the thing. Why
Yes.
would Nessie be giving it up on a cam when there's an OnlyFans available?
Nessie,
You're right,
I will pay.
I'm going to
40
OnlyFans. I'm going to type in Loch Ness Monster, and we're spending the werewolf fortune on whoever's the lucky
Absolutely.
person.
Oh, God. Loch Ness Monster. Not like this. Come on.
Anyway, that's my segment.
You know
Guys,
what?
change your
Whatever.
mind
Support-
on the Loch Ness Monster. Think now serpentine whale.
Yeah, support sex monsters. Subscribe to the Loch Ness Monsters OnlyFans. OnlyFangs?
Only fangs. Only fish.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess the Loch Ness Monster wouldn't have fangs, huh? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Werewolf Radar. We appreciate you. We appreciate all you do. Shout out to the Dark Council.
Thank
For those who
you.
came and kicked it in the room. Kay Hammond, Adric, A from Beyond, as he likes to be known. We appreciate you guys. The rest of you, we're sorry you're
Yes.
dead. But we'll see you when you reanimate.
And then let's do February's patron shout out, shall we?
February
Yes.
patron
Howl 'em
shout
out.
out.
Howl
Oh,
them
okay.
out. Howl them all out. It begins. Nick Bailey, Gloria Gray, Jason Wardell, Marcelo Duran, Michael King, Dylan Gutierrez, Abby Claboo, Adam Passion, Alicia Coy, Gloria the Gray, Hannah Taylor, and Carrion Soldier, Jason Sweet, Kyle Burtman, Nolan Lewis, the Twerk Serpent, Ryan Flint, the Most Prepared Well Guy, the Tobias Livingston, the Adric Hinkle, the Jake Speck, the Jason Sweet, the Jessica, the Liam Dull, and our Chancellor of Madness, leading us all into the darkness, Michael Przak.
You get a madness laugh. Hell yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
To all of you fools. Thank you so much.
Probably
you
going to
guys.
give this next month's donation to Texas Mutual Aid. Help people out there.
We got the asses froze off when Ted Cruz ran away like a coward and then came back like a coward. Ted Cruz, you're a coward.
Related to that, if you Jackson, Mississippi is in way worse straits than
Oh, geez, really?
Houston or Austin. I think they still don't have power
Wow.
or clean water. They haven't been. People in Jackson haven't been able to drink clean water in something like 10 or 12 days now.
So we're going to give
hell.
money to one of these mutual aids. Help people as best we
And
can.
if you feel like it, go Google yourself Jackson Aid or something like that.
Yeah. You can go help
There
out
are
yourself.
places, many places to give to.
You don't just
Yes.
have to help out by giving to us, but if you do,
We
you'll get
That's
appreciate
where
some,
your
it.
money's going
you'll
anyway.
get some grave
so.
nuggets, and you'll start to understand all of the inside jokes. But until then, you'll just have to keep wondering along with the rest of them. Guys, thank you for listening to Werewolf Radar. Until next time.
Punch the sky, Spaceman Joe.